So let's talk about this though, since all this money printing. So I want to know how you think, because America is everything about America looks like, well, this is what a collapsing empire looks like. Even oh, great, we got Joe Biden in, and now we've got fascism with a rainbow flag. We got good old fashioned Joe Biden's Democrat fascism. The neoliberals are going back to brunch, not caring that, whatever, Biden is still bombing everybody. We're doing everything that empires do. We're spending all our money on war. There's a handful of people with all the money. There's people living in the streets. Now you've got 26 million new guns were bought in the last year on top of the whatever 100 million that were already in this country. So how do you see with all of this financial collapse on top of just all of the things the American empire has been doing? Like, it seems like COVID really brought to light all of America's problems. Like, it just really pulled up the rug and showed all of our cracks and cockroaches and everything, all of our problems with racism, everything. And it just doesn't feel like America is going to keep going. So how do you see that? How do you see America, like what America is going to look like?
So I think it's important to understand that it will collapse, but for the ordinary person, it will get better because of that. So it has to collapse, because what you've seen since 2000 is extraordinary interventions to try to maintain the status quo. And it's caused more and more and more grief. And we see that with the extraordinary fact that there's an increase in mortality rates in America for the first time outside of war. That is extraordinary. The opioid overdoses that the cable news totally ignores, and that if they even pay attention to it, it's from, those Democratic corporate Dems who will be like, oh, these people are the losers that voted for Trump. Like, that sort of state of being of our elite class is disgusting and immoral, and that has to end. It'll be better for them. And Max and I could confirm this because we've lived in Europe, and Europe used to have empires. Europe used to have, the reserve currencies, and their people at that time lived horribly. They live so well now, the ordinary European. They vacation 6 weeks a year, 8 weeks a year. They have medical care. They have all sorts of stuff that ordinary Americans do not have. And unless you've lived there, you don't understand just how much better they have it. So they are post-empire economies, and the ordinary person is doing fine there. You don't have the oligarchs and the trillionaires that live there like we do here. So that's important to understand. It was set in motion by the hero of the left, which is Bill Clinton. He set in motion with three things at the very last days of his administration. He set in motion the inevitable. It was inevitable. It would all collapse when he got rid of Glass-Steagall. Max can go into these more. He introduced the Commodities Futures Modernization Act, which legalized gambling of derivatives, that the explosion in derivatives that destroyed the world and hollowed out. And it was a predatory system that hollowed out America and sent all our jobs overseas. That was because of the Commodities Futures and Modernization Act of 2000. And he introduced, he elevated the China to the World Trade Organization on terms that harmed American corporations and, American workers, and aided and incentivized U.S. corporations to send all their jobs to China. So those are the three things that set in motion this 21-year decline since then.
And then he got out of office and rode around on Epstein's plane 26 times. But that's another story. He said 4. I believe him. He's a good guy. That's why he had Ghislaine Maxwell at his daughter's wedding. So this is the first take I've heard from anybody to say that actually post-empire is going to be better for the average American. Can you elaborate?
Look at it like a resource curse, essentially. Look at Nigeria, look at Saudi Arabia. They have a huge amount of oil. They don't need the people. They do not need the consent of the people. The empires never needed the consent of their own people, because if the United Kingdom and Britain, all those Dickensian days happened during their huge empire. Why? They could just steal stuff. The elite just took everything from India and Africa. So they didn't need the consent of the people. Once we no longer have the exorbitant privilege that only works for the top 1%, once that is gone, then they need the consent of the people. They need to start, that includes giving them dignity, giving them manufacturing jobs and wealth creating jobs and a real communities and culture. These will have to return because once we lose the reserve currency status. Now, the important thing, like a lot of people will feel like bristling, like I'm patriotic and I love the dollar, is like the way the fact that global trade and the world economy is set on the US dollar means that you cannot have a wealth creating job. You cannot have your manufacturing job and have the US dollar by necessity, because it's not gold. Gold is dispersed all over the world and you can dig it up and mine it. The dollar is printed at the New York Fed. And how do you get that dollar then to China, to Latin America, to Asia? How do you get those over there? Well, you have to have trade imbalances, right? They have to send you their goods, you send them dollars. That's the only way to keep that system alive. You have to keep on sending them dollars, right? So the only way to do that is to have a trade deficit. So that means you lose your manufacturing jobs. So that's why China, by the way, they don't want the yuan to be the reserve currency. They don't want to replace the dollar because they don't want a situation like America has, because they have 1.4 billion people and they often riot. There's like 90,000 riots a year in China. They don't want unhappy people.
So what is the timeline do you see in terms of America's collapse? And then as America's collapsing, like, will then Bitcoin be, I mean, Bitcoin's going up no matter what, right?
Right. Well, the timeline is interesting. And that's what Bitcoin's telling us. You know, Bitcoin's at 55, 60,000 a coin because it's communicating. It's a signal. It's discounting this future of a collapsed dollar and collapsed fiat money. Markets are discounting mechanisms. They tend to look ahead and give you a price discovery. And so Bitcoin's telling us today that the US dollar is in a hyperinflationary collapse against Bitcoin right now. So the dollar is dead, except we just haven't buried it yet, but it died.
Yeah, follow up on that, because that's really interesting, the price signals. And that's something we've covered on all our shows for years now, is that it is the elite who, I mean, I don't know if it's necessarily bad intent, but they were just trying to keep everybody calm about the situation and the disintegration of their authority by hiding the signals. So like when the money printing happens, when all of that government debt accrues, what used to happen is something called the bond vigilante. So the bond investors would increase interest rates, right? They would demand higher and higher interest rates because they would see that the government had way too much debt that was outsized, right? So they're like, well, I'm not going to lend to you. I'm not sure I'm going to get paid back. So I'm not going to lend to you for 2%. I'm going to charge you 7%. So the Fed has destroyed those bond vigilantes, crushed them, because they started buying bonds, which they hadn't ever done before. They just started buying all the bonds. They were the buyer of first resort. They just bought, and crushed the yield curve. So they were destroyed. Then the gold market as well. Gold bugs used to be a way to signal to the markets once, remember back in the 70s, gold prices went from like $35 when we went off the gold standard up to $800. A huge move. Well, then we had all this with the Commodities Futures Modernization Act. We had this huge explosion in paper gold, which could crush the physical gold, importantly, because central banks own the vast majority of physical gold. So they could keep that, they could help crush the price, because it wasn't ordinary people who hold the gold and can, basically force real price discovery.
Yeah, it's even more insidious than that. 10 years ago, the what's called M3, which was showing the money printing that's going on by the government, it got to levels that were scary. So the government decided, well, we're not going to print M3 anymore. We're just not going to print it. We're not going to pretend like it doesn't exist. Recently, they decided now to make a same move on M2. So again, no price signal. Don't tell the people. Don't show that the money printing is off the charts. Just don't print it. Just ignore it. Pretend it doesn't exist. So it's an amazing David Copperfield like magic trick where it's all misdirection. Sadly, the end is nigh because there's only so many trillions of dollars you can print before you have a problem. And that's what Bitcoin's telling us. The signal of Bitcoin right now, Bitcoin is the only asset in the world that's not in a bubble. The dollar, the bond market, the stock market, the property market, they are in massive bubbles. Bitcoin is the only undervalued, it's the cheapest asset in the world compared to hundreds of trillions of dollars worth of worthless paper that is soon to revert to its intrinsic value, which is zero.
And while they've crushed all those price signals. And what do you see now in that political space? Any of the signals, what they were just telling you the truth, right? That this is an untenable situation, that you can't just keep printing all this money. So they crushed those in order to maintain their delusions that they have any control over the global economy anymore. So now they're moving towards deplatforming and demonetizing anybody that's not with the military industrial complex sort of media, the cable news. So, that's the last move I think they're trying to do, is like deplatform anybody that speaks about this sort of stuff.
Right. The price signal equivalent in media is called journalism.
Yes.
To get rid of that price signal called journalism, they're madly trying to deplatform so that there is no signal coming from investigative journalists, because that would be a tantamount to admitting fraud and admitting guilt. Same thing in the financial sector. So that's where the finance sector and the political sector overlap in this way, that they're both engaged in massive cover-up of the signaling that should be coming from a healthy market and a healthy journalistic market. So these two are working in parallel, and the result is catastrophic.
Yeah. I mean, so if I hear you correctly, you're saying trust the government and trust the oligarchs. Did I hear that correctly? Is that what you guys just said? No, this is fantastic. This is really eye-opening, and I really appreciate your time. Before you go, because I've been saying the same thing to my audience in this short amount of time that I've been in this space. I'm like, just invest, just put something in there, even a couple $100 into Bitcoin. So how high do you think it could go?
Right. I say that Bitcoin has no top because fiat money has no bottom. In other words, don't wait to the point where the streets are littered with dollars like you see in the Venezuelan bolivar, and it's coming. So it priced against fiat, Bitcoin is going to infinity because the dollar is going to, not only is it worthless, but in some cases we're selling bonds with negative interest rates. So it's worth less than zero. The fiat money is worth less than zero. So in that environment, Bitcoin priced in dollars is going to infinity. If you price it in ounces of gold, that's slightly different. I mean, that's around 35 ounces of gold per Bitcoin or something like that. I could see it going, many, many multiples higher in the near future. But, there's an old saying, it's better to be a few months too early than one day too late.
And, that negative interest rate is like probably one of the most important stories that has happened over the last 2 or 3 years. But in the entirety of the US media is like some high school drama. It's just so filled with tedious gossip, and they're not informing like Max said, they are supposed to be a price signal. They're supposed to be telling the population what is happening and what that means. Our guest, Dr. Michael Hudson, who is an economic historian, he says in the 5,000 years of money that he has researched, never once has there been a negative interest rate on money. That means time has no value. Interest rate is a price of time, right? So if you're saying time has no value at all,
there's negative value. You're saying the comment when these negative interest rates first started appearing, and this was a couple of years ago, I said the only way this makes sense is if Goldman Sachs is trying to go backwards in time and steal from customers in the past.
which if they could get away with, they would.
Oh yeah.
Well, I really appreciate the two of you taking the time to educate myself and my audience about this. Yeah, and it's as I get more, because a friend of mine just bought some Bitcoin. He bought it like 59,000, and the price went down. He was like, "Oh man," I go, "Dude, you are not missing the boat at all," because as you say, whether you buy it at 53 or 60,000, it's going to go up to 500,000, 1 million, or infinity, as you've talked about. So it won't matter. It really. That's why, and I show my friends or in my audience that's like scared. Oh, it's too high. I missed the boat. I go, the big financial institutions aren't waiting for it to go down to 10 grand again, because they know it's not. They keep buying. They keep buying in. So you should put some in there.
We're exiting. Think of this. We are exiting now the fiat dark ages. This is what history in the future, they'll look back at this time and say, and think of the past 50 years as the fiat dark ages, just like the Middle Ages and their dark ages. We exited that and went into the Renaissance, one of the most amazing periods in human history. We are entering that sort of thing. This is what we're not talking about, like profits and like, oh, I'm going to make some money on this. No, it's like beyond that. We're exiting, entering a Renaissance 2.0. And that is amazing. Those, like, you have to prepare yourself for good times now. It's going to get really good.
You don't think there's going to be a period of like civil unrest and mayhem, and like January 6th is going to look like a Disney parade?
Hey, you know, Bitcoin does this to you. It hardens you. It changes you into a different person. You go from a high time preference individual to a low time preference individual. Do you think Da Vinci and Michelangelo were like, ooh, you know, there's bubonic plague and half of Europe just died. Ooh, there's the Inquisition and everybody's being tortured to death. You know, they just created freaking great art. And that is because, you know, Florence was the home of the florin, which was the most trusted unit of account globally at that time. So I think we're entering that sort of time. Don't you, Max?
Yeah. You know, the thing is this, that with fiat money, it's stable, but you're guaranteed to lose purchasing power. With Bitcoin, it's volatile, but you're guaranteed to increase your purchasing power. So are you willing to trade a little volatility for a guaranteed increase in purchasing power versus holding on to this paper money where it's guaranteed that you're going to be losing money, at least at a rate of 15% a year for the next 10, 15, 20 years. And it could get even worse than that. So that's the thing you have to ask yourself. As far as social unrest that comes with it, you know, the founding fathers said that here's a republic. I hope you can hold on to it. And, you know, if every 50 years or so, there needs to be a revisitation of an insurrection to some degree, that would be perfectly normal. You know, it's not a static thing. America's not a static thing. It's a living, breathing organism that has to refresh itself and regrow and get rid of the dead wood. If the markets can't get rid of the dead wood because they've been co-opted by oligarchs on Wall Street, if the media is become dead because journalism is being outlawed, then we need we need an insurrection. And with Bitcoin, it's a passive, non-violent social insurrection. It's a non-violent insurrection of the people, for the people, by the people, to get rid of the oligarchs. And we're going to be a lot better off post fiat money.
I mean, this is one of the more positive interviews I've had in a while. Usually it's just like, we're done, it's over, hang yourself. And so I really appreciate you guys taking Bitcoin and showing this perspective to me.
It's just the beginning. It's just the beginning.
It
truly is.
It's really fantastic. So thank you both, Stacy Herbert and Max Keiser, for coming on our show. Tell our audience, if they're new to you, don't know where to find you, how they can watch your various shows and podcasts.
So go to youtube.com/orange pill, which you'll find our podcast there, because we have such a face for television. Of course, we have to put ourselves just on television. Also join our Telegram group, because that is the hangout for Renaissance 2.0. It's relentless optimism in there. If you're looking for relentless optimism, go in there and hang out in the Telegram group, t.me Bitcoin.com/orange pill. If you're looking for relentless pessimism, don't go there. Go to Rachel Maddow show. Okay. we actually boot out anybody who's a Karen, a negative, a downer. Like, nobody wants to hear your complaints. Go away. So those are the two best places I would say to find us.
Yeah, totally agree. That's where I hang out.
In our Telegram group, we have nearly 25,000 people, and it's just 24 hours a day. Everybody's on there relentlessly optimistic, and you'll find good times and people that, really, really positive, optimistic people, and they'll help you along your way. If you're feeling any panic, if you're feeling a little bit scared, hang in there, and you'll see that good times are ahead. They're here now, in fact.
I really appreciate that. I was thinking about how do I get out of America because it's going to collapse, but I listen to you and I feel like I should stay and make art.
That's what you should do. I think I wouldn't leave. Hey, we came back. We were in Europe for 15 years.
Yep.
We're back here now. So it's there's a lot of hyper Bitcoinization. The Bitcoin community in America is huge compared to Europe, partly because Europe has it so good right now, right? Like, as I said, the ordinary person lives so well, and they're like, they don't know. In fact, I think they're less likely to understand what's about to hit them than any ordinary American. And the Bitcoin community in America is one of the best in the world, I think.
Right. Also, in other countries where you see incredible Bitcoin strength would be in Latin America, Argentina, Brazil, these countries that have experienced hyperinflation for many years. Mexico, our show is dubbed into Spanish and it gets hundreds of thousands of views. It's in a dubbed version into Spanish. And we've created probably 500,000 Bitcoin millionaires in Latin America over the past 10 years. So we probably have increased the net worth of people around the world in the last 10 years more than the United Nations has by far.
Yes.
And you didn't exploit anybody in the process. I don't understand it. It doesn't make sense. I think we should bomb you. I think you should be sanctioned and bombed, quite honestly. You're helping too many people.
Bring it on.
Yeah, whatever, dude. Take your best shot.
We've got Bitcoin.
Yeah.
And we've got our Telegram group. Army of relentlessly optimistic warriors in there.
Yeah,
that
absolutely. Plus, we've got Plucky. Plucky is the world's greatest economist.
Hello, I'm Plucky. I'm the world's greatest economist. I trained Alan Greenspan at Harvard for a few years, and then I took a job on Wall Street. Now I advise Max and Stacy.
Plucky, I think that's quite enough. We don't need your whole resume, do we? Go back to your shelf.
Well, thank you for the guest appearance from Plucky. And the relentless optimism is fantastic. It's really, you guys have helped shine a light on me and this show.
Shine a light. Don't fall for the printed money. It's all garbage. It's garbage. It's printing by the trillion.
That's relentless pessimism. That's what pessimism looks like.
This is what Alan Green. This is Janet Yellen right now printing money. This is what it sounds like down there in Washington, D.C. There's Jay Powell.
I need my money. I need my money.
All right. You don't need that. You don't need that in your life. Buy Bitcoin and emancipate yourself from the slavery of this trash.
Well, this interview and the what the Wall Street Bets people did to crippling that hedge fund are the two funnest things that I've had happen to me in the last couple months. So this was really like, this is this gives me hope very much so. So Max and Stacy, you guys are welcome to come on my show whenever. And thank you so much. And thank you for doing all the machine and all that shit at the end.
Just go start stacking Bitcoin. And if I could plug one of our affiliates, it's swanbitcoin.com/orange pill. And it's the best way to onboard yourself because there's no shitcoinery there. If I'm allowed to swear on here, I'm not, hopefully that's okay. Can. But they give you $10 worth of sats for free. Okay. So you're not going to stress that. That's last word. Actually, that's a good thing to think about is a lot of people do get stressed because Bitcoin is quite volatile, but there are an enormous number of ways now to just earn Bitcoin from like, we just got a debit card from a company called Fold. So you go to Fold app and you get a debit card. It's debit, right? So it's pulling from your bank account. You go grocery shopping, you go pay your utility bills, any of the stuff you pay every single month, and you get sats back for every single time. So I just went to Whole Foods earlier and I got 3,500 sats. That's about $2 worth, right? But it stacks up every single time you're shopping. Sometimes you get, you also get to press a button, a little a little spin wheel,
Yeah.
that you might win a Bitcoin, you might win more rewards. The last time I went to Whole Foods, I got about $15 back in sats.
Yeah, what's amazing is that because Bitcoin's gone up 1,000% in the last year, all the grocery shopping we've done over the past year and all the bills we've paid and the Obamacare bills, we've actually made 900% back net of cost.
Because you've been using this debit card?
Yeah.
Yes, you just use the debit card. So it's a good way to stack sats without having to worry about like, oh, I spent $100 on those Satoshis and now they're down by 20%. You don't worry about that because it's just accumulating anyway, like airline miles. And you're, after a year and it's doubled or tripled and it's in your wallet and you're like, whoa, now I understand this thing.
It reduces your cost by a fantastic amount. Every time Bitcoin goes up, your overhead just went down.
Oh man, I love it. I've been seeing more and more of these exchanges putting these like, interest bearing accounts. If you store your Bitcoin in there, but what's the name of this?
That thing is sort of risky because you're not really being paid well enough, I believe, in our opinion, for the risk that you're taking. Because if it in Bitcoin is called not your keys, not your coins. So if you don't hold your coins, then they're not your coins.
Yeah.
So if you send it to one of those interest bearing things, they hold it for you. And if that company goes out of business or whatever, you lose your coins, right?
It's not worth it. I mean, Bitcoin's been appreciating at 200% a year for 10 years. So it makes no sense to take any risk whatsoever to stake them on some exchange for what, 5%, 4%? Now it's 2%, right? What's the point? It makes no sense. You're taking counterparty risk. You're taking all kinds of risk for what? You're going to make 200% if you just hodl it, put it in your cold storage and forget about it. Don't mess around with those exchanges. But the Fold card is different. It's a debit card. You get paid back Bitcoin or Satoshis, and it goes right into your wallet, and they add up. So what Stacy's point is that even if you don't want to put a nickel into it, you can just get some of these for free by getting this debit card. It pays you cash back in Bitcoin, right? So that's an easy way to earn Bitcoin. By just doing your normal shopping, you're going to earn Bitcoin.
So if I understand correctly, you get this Fold debit card. So it's linked to like a bank account that has fiat currency in it, and you go to the store and buy whatever with fiat currency, and then you're paid rewards in Bitcoin.
Yep.
Yes.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
But nothing out of the ordinary. You're spending on, or you're already buying stuff on these, at Whole Foods or
right. So like I'll load it up with $500 from the bank, and I'll go to Amazon, which I go to every day anyway, and I get sats back on every Amazon buy.
You get 6% back at Amazon.
6% back on anything I buy on Amazon in Bitcoin. So now Bitcoin in the last year has gone up over 900%. So everything I bought on Amazon for the past 12 months during lockdown, I've been paid back. I think I completely paid for it. In other words, I got it for free. Everything I bought on Amazon the past year, I got for free.
Yeah, so that's available to Americans right now, and I think they're going out global. They'll start introducing it to other countries soon. But I just find it really easy to. It's a good, easy way, especially if you don't have that much fiat, if you don't have that much cash, or if you have, you're concerned about spending any money on it. It's just you're not spending anything extra. You're not, you're accumulating Bitcoin without doing any new spending other than what you already do. Just do it on this card.
How about this new podcasting invention from Adam Curry?
This is for you because, of course, Bitcoin is censorship resistant, but it's a way, there's two different ones. There's Adam Curry has been amazingly helping out a lot of these Lightning devs, and he's helped out Sphinx.chat, and then there's Breeze, Breez. These two apps help your viewers and your listeners to stream Satoshis to you, to stream Bitcoin to you. So
Yep.
Breeze is very user friendly. It's very consumer friendly. So right now, Sphinx Chat is a little bit more advanced. You have to have a little bit more knowledge about Bitcoin, but Breeze, they could download it. Right now, it's still in the beta testing phase. So I'm not sure who is able to actually download it, but it'll soon be available for download on, the App Store. And it's super easy to use.
Yeah.
You just, select the Political Vigilante. You like that podcast. And you just 2 buttons to choose. You either tip right now, like 5,000 Satoshis, or you hit on the button of how many Satoshis per minute. So if you listen to 20 minutes, you're going to pay every 20 minutes 50 Satoshis. If you listen to 40 minutes, it'll still, you'll be stacking up every minute. And you see it, like, people are listening to our podcast as we speak right now. And it literally pops up every single second. Every single minute, you're seeing more and more Satoshis stream in.
I'm getting Satoshi streamed into our wallet 24 hours a day.
So there's a whole bunch of ways now developing where it's just you earn it or you stack it through just spending, your ordinary bills that you need to pay anyway.
This is the exciting thing about Bitcoin now. I mean, in the first few years when we got involved, okay, you're buying it, you're holding it, it's going up, that's cool. But now it's actually totally changing all kinds of industries. It's changing the banking industry, it's changing the media industry, it's changing the podcasting industry. And all these different industries are now being transformed by the micropayments, streaming Satoshis, Bitcoin's a store of value. And it's all happening in real time. And the big losers are the legacy system, banks and the political establishment. Those are the losers. So this is what we want to happen. And that's what's happening. It's happening right now.
Relentlessly optimistic we are.
It's so fantastic. Well, Kate, my assistant, I know you're watching. Please write down Breeze because we're going to investigate that.
Yeah, that should be available. Like we're beta testing it now. I'm not sure if it's. You could check it out, see if it's yet on the App Store, but it should be very soon. It looks, to me, it seems perfect. It works super well. So I think it's like beyond beta at this point.
Yeah, man, it's a glorious cosmic now. We're in the cosmic now. We're entering as the orange, the singularity. The Bitcoin singularity is happening right now, March of 2021.
Okay. I know you guys. Do you got time for one more question, or do you got to go? It's okay if you.
Yeah, one more question, and then we could go. Give it to us. Give it to us.
So. The relentlessly optimistic thing, I love hearing that. So there has been some criticism. Some people say that Bitcoin is a big energy draw and it's not great for the environment. And I tend, the more I talk to people, it feels like that solution is already being handled. But how do you address that when people say,
There's a number of points. Number one, 63% of all energy that's extracted right now is wasted. It's wasted energy. We have a huge energy waste going on right now. All these industries are incredibly wasteful. Bitcoin seeks out what's called stranded energy. For example, oil wells, when they're drilling oil, they emit a lot of gas, and they usually either let that go in the atmosphere or they flare it off. Bitcoin miners, because it's portable, they go to these rigs where they're doing oil and they set up a miner and they capture that flaring gas and they turn it into Bitcoin. So it's actually green. It's actually efficient. Solar is incredibly cheap right now. It's getting to be the cheapest energy in the world. Guess what? Bitcoin miners are gravitating to solar now, gravitating to renewables. Over 30% of Bitcoin energy is right now renewables. So it gets renewables, it gets stranded energy. It's actually the opposite. It's the greenest industry in the world, and it's cleaning up the fossil fuel industry because the fossil fuel industry is incredibly wasteful. And as a result of that, it's incredibly capital intensive. And guess what? When you got an incredibly capital intensive industry like the industry, how do they pay for it? By printing this garbage. It's all fiat money driven, and Bitcoin kills the fiat money barons. So therefore it kills the inefficient energy industry. Number one. Number two is that Bitcoin is essentially at war with fiat money. So if it needs energy to fight fiat, we need to support Bitcoin's fight against fiat money. These two are Battlestar Galactica. It's the biggest fight of the century, and we don't want to deprive Bitcoin's ability to fight fiat, and it needs energy, and that energy is green energy. So we need to support Bitcoin's energy right now because it's fighting fiat, which is the single greatest cause of terrorism on planet Earth is fiat money. Full stop. I'm argue that point anybody at any time, and I win every single time because it's undeniable. If you don't like terrorism, buy Bitcoin. If you don't like war, buy Bitcoin. You don't like violence, buy Bitcoin. You don't like hatred, buy Bitcoin. Peace, love, and understanding. It's better than an Elvis Costello song.
First concert I ever saw live was Elvis Costello.
Wow.
So that was fantastic. That'll be its own clip. Oh my goodness. You guys are amazing. Thank you so much for being on our show. Everybody, tell us again where to find your show again.
Watch it at youtube.com/orange pill or join our Telegram group t.me/orange pill and get ready for good times.
Get ready, baby. Get ready.
Get ready for good times. I love it. Stacy Herbert, Max Kaiser, thank you so much. Thanks for your relentless optimism and your money, stripper machine thing. That was fun. So we had a great time to
Stripper machine.
I'm a stripper, baby. I'm a stripper. I'll do my pole dancing, baby. Throw me some streaming Satoshis. Do it, baby. Do it.
Don't ever say stripper to Max again. He will whip off his clothes in a fraction of a second.
I thought I got my yoga pants on. I got the best legs in Bitcoin. Okay, nobody comes close. Okay, I've got incredible legs, and I like to show them to people to inspire them. And that's the way it is. Can we go? Are we wrapping this up?
It's time for Max
I
to go
keep
to
trying
bed
to
now.
let you guys go, and then you keep doing more stuff.
Okay,
So,
sorry.
thank you so much. You guys are fantastic. Max, we'll bring you back on the show and Breeze is up and running to make some money for you stripping, okay?
Okay.
Oh, awesome. Okay, let's do it.
All right, you guys have a great
Thanks a lot.
weekend.
See ya.
Thanks for watching, everybody. Please hit the like button, the subscribe button. Go to patreon.com/Graham Elwood and rockfin.com/Graham Elwood, where you can support the show. Also, I have a Bitcoin wallet, a Bitcoin Cash wallet, and an Ethereum wallet in the show notes. We're taking cryptocurrency. I have a Coinbase affiliation link. We're going to be getting on some other exchanges. So that's how you support the show. Make sure you hit the subscribe button. YouTube is unsubscribing us at an alarming rate. I have a PayPal button at GrahamElwood.com. I even have a Venmo at Graham-Elwood. There's a lot of ways to support our show. We are getting crushed by YouTube. We've dipped under 73,000 subscribers because of YouTube. Thanks for supporting what we do.